Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I have to tell you, my heart has been so incredibly heavy watching our sweet Willow Kane lately. Do you remember when she was just that kind-hearted, gentle school teacher, always putting everyone else's needs before her own? Well, those days feel like they are a million miles away now. I look at her today, and I see a woman who has been pushed to her absolute breaking point. She has survived so much sickness, tragedy, and heartbreak over the years, but now she is tangled up in something so dark and twisted, it just makes me want to reach right through the television screen and give her a good, loving shake. The sweet, innocent girl we all knew and loved is fading away right before our eyes, and in her place is someone desperate, holding on to terrible secrets that are eating her alive from the inside out. It is a crying shame to see a genuinely good person go down such a troubled, destructive path, but that is exactly what we are witnessing right now. Lord have mercy. The situation took a massive and shocking turn for the worse on August 13th. I could hardly believe my own eyes when Michael Corinthos actually blackmailed his own wife. Can you even begin to imagine the horrible sting of that betrayal? Your own husband, the man who stood at the altar and promised to love, honor, and protect you, holding your darkest secrets over your head like a terrifying storm cloud. Michael used sworn signed affidavits from Kai Taylor and our precious Trina Robinson to back Willow into a corner. I just sat there in my living room shaking my head thinking about how deeply broken a marriage has to be for a husband to play dirty like that. Michael truly thought he was doing the right thing, trying to control a spiraling situation, but he just ended up throwing a bucket of gasoline onto a blazing fire. When Willow finally realized that Kai and Trina had actively helped Michael gather this damaging evidence against her, you could practically see the blazing fire in her eyes. I have never, in all my years of watching her, seen her look so absolutely furious. She knows now that Kai and Trina are working hand in hand with her husband to keep her in line, and that kind of deep betrayal cuts much deeper than a knife. I could feel her raw anger radiating through the screen. She is backed into a tight corner, and like a scared, wounded animal, she is lashing out at anyone close by. She made some incredibly harsh, terrifying threats, the kind of warnings that make the hair on the back of your neck stand straight up. She absolutely does not want Kai working for her anymore, and she made it crystal clear that he and Trina had better watch their backs from now on. Now, let us take a moment to talk about poor Kai Taylor. He is sitting right squarely in the crosshairs of Willow's terrible wrath, and I am honestly sweating bullets for the young man. He was just trying to do what he thought was right and noble, helping Michael keep Willow from making any more terrible, life-altering mistakes. But as we all know too well, in a town like Port Charles, doing the right thing often puts a giant red target right on your back. Kai already knew that Willow was capable of doing dark things. He strongly suspected she might try to silence Drew Kane permanently, so he has to be absolutely terrified now that her blinding anger is pointed directly at him. I just know he is looking over his shoulder every single time he walks down the street, wondering if Willow is going to make good on her terrifying promises. And this brings me to the absolute most heartbreaking part of the story I have to share with you today. The whispers around town are saying that Kai might not make it out of this terrible mess alive. Yes, you heard me right, my friends. There is a very real, very frightening chance that Kai is going to be murdered. My stomach just drops to the floor at the very thought of it. And what makes it even worse, what truly shatters my heart, is that Trina might be the one to find his lifeless body after a brutal, senseless attack. Can you even imagine the sheer trauma of walking into a room and finding the young man you care about lying there, gone forever? It is the stuff of absolute nightmares. And I just hate to see such a dark, heavy cloud hovering over these sweet young folks. Bless her heart, Trina has already been through the emotional ringer more times than I can even count. She is such a strong, beautiful, resilient young woman, but how much pain can one person take before they just completely break? She is already drowning in deep sorrow because Curtis Ashford is locked away in a cold prison cell. Her family is entirely fractured. Her mother, Portia, just went through a terrifying premature labor, and Trina has been trying so incredibly hard to find just a little bit of joy and light in her music projects with Gio. If she loses Kai now, it would be exactly like losing another boyfriend all over again. The poor girl's heart must be completely shattered into a million tiny pieces. I just want to wrap her up in a warm, cozy blanket, sit her down with a cup of tea, and tell her everything is going to be all right, even though we all know the storm is only getting worse. Naturally, if Kai turns up dead, every single finger in town is going to point straight at Willow. How could they not? Trina and Michael both heard the vicious, venomous threats Willow made with their own ears. They know for a fact that she was pushed right to the brink of insanity by the cruel blackmail. If Kai is murdered right after Willow swore up and down that he would pay dearly for crossing her, Trina is going to demand swift justice, and she is going to scream Willow's name from the highest rooftops. And honestly, I cannot say I blame her one bit. When you are grieving and hurting, you look for the most obvious answer to ease your pain, and Willow has certainly painted herself as the absolute perfect villain in this tragic, heartbreaking story. And what about Michael? Oh Lord, the agonizing guilt that boy is going to carry will be heavier than a ton of solid bricks. From his perspective, it is going to look exactly like his terrible, misguided decision to blackmail his wife is what finally pushed her over the edge into becoming a cold-blooded killer. He is going to sit alone in that big, empty, quiet mansion and completely torture himself, thinking that if he had just handled things differently, if he had just talked to her instead of threatening her, Kai would still be breathing today. Michael's going to realize the hard way that his foolish attempt to fix things only ended up destroying a young life. The heavy, suffocating burden on his conscience is going to be incredibly agonizing to watch, and I honestly wonder if his mind will be able to handle the crushing weight of that terrible guilt. But hold your horses, because things are never as simple as they seem in Port Charles. While everyone is getting ready to lock Willow up and throw away the key forever, I have a very strong feeling that she might actually be entirely innocent of this particular horrific crime. We absolutely cannot forget about the creepy, unseen danger lurking quietly in the shadows. Trina has a secret stalker following her every single move, watching her from afar without her even having a clue. This deeply disturbed stalker is completely obsessed with our sweet Trina and clearly wants Kai completely out of the picture. I get cold chills running down my spine just thinking about someone hiding in the dark, plotting to violently eliminate any man who dares to get close to the woman they are so unhealthily fixated on. Think about it from the stalker's twisted evil point of view. They desperately want to get rid of Kai, but they obviously do not want to get caught by the police. Then, right out of the blue, along comes Willow, screaming terrible threats at Kai for the whole town to hear. It is exactly like the universe handed this stalker a golden winning lottery ticket. This stalker is smart, calculating, and completely ruthless. They could easily wait for the absolute perfect moment, strike Kai down in cold blood when nobody is looking, and then quietly slip away into the dark night, knowing full well that everyone will immediately blame the furious, desperate Willow Kane. It is a brilliant, totally evil plan that takes out their romantic competition and provides a perfect, ready-made scapegoat all at the exact same time. I would bet my bottom dollar that this stalker will go the extra mile to make absolutely sure Willow takes the hard fall for this murder. They might carefully plant fake evidence, maybe leave something belonging to Willow right at the bloody scene of the crime, or cleverly manipulate the security cameras to make it look like she was standing right there. The poor woman is going to be caught tight in a sticky web of lies that she did not even spin. We're going to see the police knocking loudly on the Quartermain door, shiny handcuffs ready, and Willow is going to be dragged away in tears for a murder she absolutely did not commit. It is going to be a complete and total circus, and I am bracing myself right now for the sheer panic and confusion that will undoubtedly unfold on our screens. As for Trina and Michael, they are going to be on a relentless, exhausting quest for the real truth. I just hope and pray every night that Trina's stalker makes a sloppy mistake, because that beautiful young woman deserves peace and happiness, not more endless tragedy. We are in for a wild, incredibly bumpy ride, my dear friends. I will be sitting right here in my favorite chair, glued to my television screen every single afternoon, waiting to see how this incredible, twisting mystery unfolds. The drama, the heartache, the shocking twists and turns, it is everything we absolutely love about our daily stories. Keep your loved ones close, say a little prayer for sweet Trina, and let us wait together to see what shocking news rocks Port Charles next.